Good evening, Compass. So, as many of you know, we took a group of 5 of us last week to Guatemala. And there's not enough time left in the day, let alone the service, for me to share everything that God did while we were there, how He changed us, how He changed the people we came in contact with. I can't even begin, really. But I did want to put these slides up for you guys to see. That is me dead. I'm perfectly fine though. But they're just been playing before the service now, so I want you guys to kind of have an idea of where we were and what it looked like. The most ironic thing, though, I have to be honest, was cell phone service had to be awful, right? No, cell phone service was better there than it is here, and that was pretty awesome. But I did want to share a couple things. Pastor Mark had asked us to possibly share like 3 little stories. Mine aren't really stories, more observations. I saw God working in the people. When I say that, I mean our team, I mean the people that were there, and the missionaries, interpreters that we interacted with. God was on the move the entire time. I'm going to brag on these guys real quick. They're going to be very uncomfortable during this, knowing both of them how humble they are. But I do want to just take a moment and just say it was awesome working with the 4 other people that were from Compass. Dennis is an amazing father, an amazing police officer. He got to use both of those while he was there. It was awesome to see him interact with children. It was awesome to see the opportunity we had with interacting with police there. Dennis got to, I can think of 3 times that he made a difference in some officers, even while we were traveling one time. So it was awesome to see God take us, no matter who we are, and use us while we were there. Steve is a great man of God who is blessed to be able to disciple others. And I experienced that on the plane flight there. I experienced that watching him work with one of the translators. And I also watched him help encourage and just be there for Jocelyn as she actually led someone to Christ. And it was just awesome. And so thank you both for everything you did while you were there. It truly was amazing to see us go, not knowing what God would do, but He used us right where we were, with who we were, to reach His people. And so that was amazing. Jocelyn is an amazing mother and teacher, and she loved those kids. If you haven't seen by some of the pictures that are going by, she just did an amazing job. She just loved on them. She read to them. She practiced her Spanish. It was amazing. The girls kind of put us to shame. Us men did not. Our Spanish is probably not anywhere near Leanna or Jocelyn's Spanish, but Jocelyn did an amazing job just loving kids. There they are right there, both Leanna and Jocelyn. Leanna did an amazing job medically. We were blessed to be able to go into a couple neighborhoods, diagnose what was going on, and we were able to go get medication and bring it back to them later in the week. Because antibiotics are over the counter there, which is pretty crazy for us to think about. So that was our people. And seeing God work through them was amazing, but also seeing God work through the people that were there, the people we interacted with. I've never seen people more loving than these Guatemalans that have almost nothing. You walk down the street and they are just smiling ear to ear. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to speak Spanish. You just smile at them and they're already smiling back at you. It was absolutely amazing to see God working in them. Like I said, we saw at least 2 ladies come to Christ while we were there. I'll never forget Anderson. Steve knows what I'm talking about, little Anderson. Amazing little kid. His father was in charge of one of the villages. And Anderson and his older brother actually helped us stay out of the bad areas. No one told them to. They just come alongside us and they were like, don't go there. Yes, we can go here. It was awesome. These kids were Anderson was probably 8 or 9, maybe. And so the people we met were absolutely amazing. And then the third set of people that I saw do amazing things were God's people that are there doing His work, the missionaries and the translators. I can't even dive into the emotions I have and how much love I felt for those people. Because on many mission trips I've been in the past here in the States, a lot of the States programs, there's nothing wrong with them, but a lot of times when you leave, they're leaving at the end of the summer too. But we know when we left that those people were going to be in good hands because the Smiths aren't going anywhere. Pastor Sender's family's not going anywhere. And it was awesome for us to know that the work we had started, they were going to continue, and the seeds that we helped plant were going to continue to grow. So it's just amazing to see all that. So when it comes down to my 3 things, it was just people. It was us, it was the people we interacted with, and the missionaries that are there. And so I just pray that we continue to support the people there through prayer and any help that I know Compass helps. Compass Pocomoke's planning on helping. So just please continue to keep them in prayer, and I know there's going to be some opportunities for us to help them in other ways as well. So I'm going to pass it on to Dennis.
A couple of different things. One was when we went to the mountain, they're trying to build a well because they have no clean drinking water. And to watch the community come together, and the Cope family is another missionary group, they are down 83 feet. They still have not hit water yet. So if you have the chance, please pray for them. Otherwise, the kids have to go off the mountain to bring water to their families. And that water is not drinking water to us or to them. They have a lot of parasites. Leanne is one of the MVPs. She helped tremendous families there, like diagnosing medical issues and stuff like that. There's one picture here that I'm holding in. That is a preemie of a twin. That one is the better of the two. Her little sister was taking care of her while mom was with the other infant. I asked her to hold that baby, and she told me no. And then the power of a lollipop. You kids here think lollipops are thing. That girl's eyes lit up. So I handed her a lollipop, but she still wouldn't give it to me. But she was going to save that lollipop because they don't get stuff like that. With a bribe of a second lollipop, I got to hold that baby. And that other child got the chance to be a kid for 2 hours. And I'm a big guy. That baby was as big as my forearm. His fingers and toes could fit on my thumb. So it was a life-altering thing when you see kids here and the medical help we have here, they don't have it. So the other points is these guys. I mean, when we would get into a situation where it was taxing on us seeing how these families lived, we saw each other, we brought each other up. I have to give Trevor one bad note. So we were one of the places for activities, and Trevor decided he was going to play soccer with them. Well, Trevor decided to kick the ball into somebody's backyard that you can't get the ball from. You can't, like, you know how you go to your neighbors and you say, my kids can. That does not happen here. So poor Trevor did this and ended up buying 3 more balls because they can't get the ball back. But you can work to get out of that.
Oh, no, yeah. That was actually, it was Anderson's ball. That's
yes.
why that he meant so much to me.
I did Facebook Live 2 of the churches. The last one, the one on the mountain, or no, it was the last one.
It was the last one.
When this young girl, you could tell she wanted Jesus in her heart, and she walked right up front. It took me, made my heart feel a little weird because I've never seen that actually happen. And to know that that's what they have is Jesus there. But other than that, they don't have the luxuries that we have here. And we made a family with the translators and made amazing friends there, whether they were part of our group or out in the villages. So.
First, I just want to thank everyone that gave anything, whether it was your prayers, whether it was the school supplies, whether it was the wristbands that some of you made. It made a difference. And just, I want you to know that there were many smiles from those gifts. And it was a blessing to team with my teammates, and I got to see all of their gifts. One of the things that we've been praying from the beginning of our first team meeting was Ephesians prayer in chapter 3. That God would do abundantly more than we could ever ask or imagine. And God answered that prayer in an abundant way. And we don't have time to share, but the biggest thing is when you go to Guatemala, you hope you make a difference. But they change your life. And forever, we will be part of Guatemala. It was a great joy for me because I've been there many times. And to watch the four of them use their gifts is they are part Guatemalan. And it may sound funny, but they loved us and we loved them. Without a doubt, probably the greatest highlight, other than watching them, and Trevor already shared some of the great blessings, is I got to, one of the prayer walks, I got to team with Jocelyn, the school teacher here, an interpreter. And I've been encouraging her earlier in the week that maybe that God may set her up to share the gospel, and she was very hesitant to do that. But that night, she stepped out of the boat and trusted God, and she used a little wristband with symbols to lead somebody to Jesus Christ. I'll never forget that because she got out of the boat and got her feet wet. And I want to encourage each of you already, it's not too soon to get praying for a future trip. God does not need talent. He only needs available hearts because He can use a lollipop, He can use a hug, and that's all they need. And again, I want to thank you all for being behind us. And I think in the future we'll have all of us together and we'll be able to share it. Thank you.
Thank you guys again. I do want to end real quick, which is a short little story about the people that we were ministering to and the gospel being spread beyond anything we can imagine. That's what when Steve mentioned that, it reminded me of something that happened. We were actually invited into a hut late at night and were given food that we graciously took and then hid because we had no idea what it was or if it was safe to eat. But we were very thankful. But the reason they gave us food is because they wanted to sit us down and ask the missionaries if they would go with them because they had already gone into a neighboring village and started to share the gospel. They had already gone to do what the love that they had seen to another community. And so, guys, it's happening there. And I can only pray that we can see similar things happening here on the Eastern Shore. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. Just three things. First, this was, and Trevor did a great job explaining it, just for those of you that are first-time, second-time guests, we're Compass Church Salisbury, and in October 1st to be exact, we're planning another church by the grace of God in Pocomoke. So this trip, some of the pictures that you were seeing on the screen, and you saw the guys looking up, there's also a screen up here they were looking at as well, but it was a combination of Compass Church Pocomoke members and Compass Church Salisbury members. So I just wanted to reiterate that for those of you that may not know a lot yet about Compass Church Pocomoke, but you'll be hearing more and more about it. We'll be talking about it pretty much every week leading up to launch, and there'll be some opportunities to help them as well. That's October 1st. They're going to be meeting on Sundays. 2, we're going to start as early as next week collecting supplies for Guatemala. There was a Facebook post yesterday talking about some needs. So between now and Christmas, we're going to start collecting things, and we're going to ship a bunch of stuff over to Guatemala, some supplies and other things that are needed there. So we're going to start collecting that over the next couple of months. So check social media out for that, as well as there'll be announcements here, and Shannon can answer any questions in the upcoming weeks at Wayfinder. And then 3, Pastor Steve brought this up, there's going to be more opportunities. As they did such a great job, all of them, of conveying. When you go on a missions trip, and I hope to be able to go on the next one, whenever I've been, just like those guys, like it changes you as much as God uses you by His power and might to help change people there and to have an impact. They have as much impact on us when we go and live on mission as we do them. And it really is a blessing. And this was alluded to by Pastor Trevor, but Stephen and Kelly Smith and Noah and Nate and Bambi, who's a part of our church as well, they're full-time missionaries now in Guatemala. And Compass Church Salisbury and soon Compass Church Pocomoke, we support them financially through prayers and in other ways as well, basically whatever they need. So there's going to be maybe you can't go to Guatemala this upcoming year or next year for whatever reason. But as Pastor Steve said, prayers are always needed. That's something we should be praying for daily as a church and individually as well. They need our prayers in Guatemala for resources, for God's provision, for health, for safety, well-being, for the mission work that's being done there. But they are boots on the ground there. So as these guys came back home, Stephen and Kelly are still there. Other teams are coming, and they're still doing missions every day. So a lot of great things happening, and it's a pure example of how we are to make disciples of all nations, as we read in Matthew 28, 18 through 20. We're to make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. And these men and women that went on this trip did just that. And now it's probably safe to say they went to Guatemala and helped people there, and now they're back home ready to be on mission here at home. And that's what missions is all about. It's people sometimes say, well, why Guatemala, or why Honduras, or why this, or why that? It's because God's called us to make disciples of all nations. And then when we get back home, we're wanting to be more on mission here where we live. So can we give God a hand with what he did in Guatemala? And the people that went, you guys are awesome. I can't wait to hear more. There's going to be more opportunities for them to share. We'll give you more information on that too.